I met him when I was 24 years old. He was everything you'd picture in a movie. Charming, incredibly funny, and brimming with dreams that felt so big and real when he talked about them. He told me he wanted to be a lawyer, to fight for justice, to make a real difference in the world. But there was a catch, a big one. He came from a family with very little, and the mountain of law school tuition seemed impossible for him to climb. At the time, I had just started my career. It wasn't a high-flying job, nothing glamorous, but it paid the bills and I had a little bit left over. I was proud of my independence. One evening, he looked at me with this intense sincerity in his eyes and said, "If I could just finish school, I swear I'd give you the world." And in that moment, with his hand in mine, I believed every single word. I saw our future stretching out before us, bright and full of promise. So, we started dating officially. It wasn't long before his things started migrating to my small apartment. First a toothbrush, then a few shirts, and before I knew it, he had moved in. It felt natural, like the next logical step. I fell into a routine. I'd come home from work, cook our meals, make sure the apartment was clean, and handle all the bills. He was focused on his pre-law studies, and I wanted to create a peaceful, stable home for him so he could concentrate. I felt like we were a team, building a foundation for the life he had promised. Then came the conversation I knew was inevitable. He sat me down one night, looking nervous. He asked if I could help him with his tuition. It wasn't a small amount of money. It was a staggering figure that made my stomach clench. It was more than I made in a year. But then I looked at him, at the man I loved, the man I was building a future with, and all I could think about was his dream becoming our dream. So, I took a deep breath and said yes. That yes changed everything for me. I went to the bank and took out a personal loan, the kind that hangs over your head for years. My life became a cycle of work and saving. Friends would ask me to go on vacations, and I'd have to make excuses. I stopped buying new clothes, stopped going out for dinners. I picked up every extra shift I could at my job, working late nights and weekends until I was exhausted. Every dollar I earned, every sacrifice I made was for him. It was all so he could walk across that stage and get his degree. He was so grateful, always telling me how much he appreciated it. He'd paint these beautiful pictures of our future. "Just wait," he'd say. "When I graduate, we'll build a real life together. A big house, a family, everything." I clung to those promises like a lifeline. They were the fuel that kept me going when I was so tired I could barely see straight. For 3 long, grueling years, I was his rock. I was his cheerleader, his financial backer, his everything. I watched him bury his head in textbooks. I watched him grow more confident. I watched him transform into the lawyer I thought I was going to marry. The end was finally in sight. But then, about a month before his graduation, something shifted. It was subtle at first. He started acting distant, strange. The little terms of endearment, like him calling me babe, just vanished from our conversations. He started staying out late, claiming he was at study groups or networking events. When I'd call, he'd sound distracted, rushed. He'd just say, "I'm just busy. A lot to wrap up before finals." A cold knot of dread began to form in my stomach. I tried to talk to him about it. I asked him point blank if something was wrong, if he was okay. "I'm just stressed," he'd say, brushing it off. "It's the final push, that's all." But I knew him. I knew his rhythms, his moods. This wasn't just stress. This was something else. I could feel him pulling away, creating a chasm between us that I didn't know how to cross. The warmth we once shared had turned into a chilling silence. The truth came out on a random Tuesday night. He was in the shower, and his phone, which he now guarded like it was a state secret, was lying face down on the nightstand. It lit up with a notification. I don't know why I looked. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was a desperate need to know I wasn't going crazy. The message preview on the screen read, "I can't wait to start our life together." My heart stopped. It wasn't from me. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The room started spinning. I just stood there, frozen, staring at that message, at those words that were a twisted echo of the promises he had made to me. All the sacrifices, the late nights, the debt, it all flashed before my eyes. I felt a wave of nausea. I waited for him to get out of the shower, my mind racing, trying to find an explanation. Any explanation that wasn't the one staring me in the face. When he walked back into the bedroom, toweling his hair, humming a little tune, I couldn't hold it in any longer. My voice was barely a whisper when I asked, "Who is she?" He stopped, the towel dropping from his hands. The color drained from his face. He didn't even try to deny it. He just looked at me, a stranger in the home I had made for us, and said, "I didn't mean for it to happen." The classic line, the coward's way out. Tears were streaming down my face, but my voice was cold, hard. "So what happens to us? To the life you promised me? What happens now?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. He just stared at the floor, at the worn-out rug I had bought on sale 2 years ago. And then he delivered the final blow. I think we should take a break. A break. After everything, I paid for his entire future. And with graduation just weeks away, he was walking away from mine. To be continued in episode 2.